da, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine is headed my way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Mr. Bluebird on my shoulder. It's the truth, it's actual. Everything is satisfactual. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Oh, what a feeling, oh, what a day. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Well, hey, John, I didn't know you was going to be here. I was just taking the kids to the playground for a little while. Let me set this stuff down. We can go later. Got them a picnic lunch and a whole bunch of Coca-Colas in this cooler because they get mighty thirsty. Especially that Jenna Boo. She got a lot of her to feed. And my kids got short attention spans, so you never know what they're going to want to do. So I got the basketball and the baseball and the tennis racket and the football. And you know they grow up so doggone fast. I want to capture every minute of their life on film. So I got my long range camera for close-ups. I got my backup long range camera for backup. And I got my movie camera for action, because you don't know what's going to happen when you spend 30 minutes at the playground with them kids. We can go later, though. Let's go on in the living room and sit down and talk a spell. Let me get these play clothes off. I'll be right back with you, John. Well, thank you all for coming to my home. I'm Darrell Huckabee. I was born in Porterdale, Georgia, 61 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, that makes me right at 61. I got a big old family. About 40 or 50 counting the cousins and my kids and my wife and my in-laws and my outlaws and all of that. Y'all want to know what I did for a living? Might be easy for me to tell you what I don't do for a living. I'm a school teacher in my 39th year in the classroom teaching U.S. history. I still hadn't decided if I'm going to make a career out of it, but I'm kind of leaning that way. Write a syndicated newspaper column that goes out to about 15 or 20 papers all over the state of Georgia. I speak all over the country at conventions and such, trying to make people laugh. I'm a lay preacher in Methodist Church, so I try to make them get right with Jesus while they're laughing as well. And I'm the author of these 12 books that you see up here. And I think this is my favorite, because it's all about my wife and my children and our travels around the country. Lisa and I took our 3 kids to all 50 states over a period of 8 summers. And I tell you what, you ain't lived until you've been in the back of a minivan, pulling a pop-up camper from Atlanta to California and back with 3 teenagers and a menopausal wife. Well, this will be the wife. My lovely wife, Lisa. We've been married 30 years and never had an argument, not even one. This is my daughter, my oldest daughter, Dr. Jamie Lee Huckabee. Jamie's a pharmacist. Her mom and I spent tons of money paying the University of Georgia to teach her how to sell drugs for a living. We already got dozens of kids in Heritage High School where I teach can already do it without any training whatsoever. This is my boy Jackson Lee Huckabee. He's named after that Jackson and that Lee. I don't care who knows it. Jackson is 6'5", weighs 127 pounds soaking wet with rocks in his pocket. When he dresses in red, it looks like a thermometer on a hot August day. And this is our baby girl, Jenna. We call her Boo Boo because she kind of slipped up on me and Mama. Jenna is the free spirit of the bunch. She is 19 going on 32. Any of y'all ever had one of them? Any of y'all ever been one of them? All I say about Jenna is if she'd been born first, she'd be an only child. Well, that's our 3 children, Jamie, Jackson, and Jenna. I wouldn't take $1 million for any of them, but I wouldn't give you 2 cents for another one. I can guarantee you that. We had so much fun on our travels across the country that I wrote this book, A Southerner Looks at All 50 States. And it's full of funny things about what happened to us on the road. And I mean some things happened to us on the road. Let me tell you about the worst and the best experience we probably had. You notice I got teddy bears everywhere, and there's a reason for that. We kind of partial to bears now. Jenna was about 8 years old, and we were at Yellowstone National Park on the 4th of July. We've been there for about 2 days, and them folks out there are serious about you being careful about bears. When you come into Grant Campground where we was camping, you had to sign 4 or 5 affidavits saying you'd read them and knew how to make sure that the bears didn't get after you. And you couldn't just sign the paper, they made you actually read the stuff. Well, we've been there 2 days and we hadn't seen a bear. Tell you the truth, I kind of wanted to see a bear because I'd never seen a grizzly bear close up. I'd been sprinkling sugar around the campsite both nights we were there, hoping a bear had come up. None had until supper time on the 4th of July. We were all up there where you wash dishes. They so serious about the bears, if you cook in your campground, you can't wash the dishes right there in your campsite. You got to actually take the dishes up to the wash house and get inside the house and wash the dishes. Well, me and Lisa, Jamie, standing there washing dishes at the sink. Jackson was on the old-fashioned payphone talking to his grandmama back in Georgia, and Jenna was playing out in the road. All of a sudden, she hollered out, "Bear! Bear!" And we all dropped what we were doing and looked over there at Jenna, and she said, "Ha ha, made you look." Well, I gave her the lecture about the boy that cried wolf and all that, and we went back to what we was doing, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. People all the way up the campground started screaming, "Bear! Bear! Bear!" And I looked up about 200 yards away. A big old brown grizzly bear was just loping down the campground. He was slinging his head from side to side, and he was roaring. He was being chased a while back by a ranger in a Jeep. Well, Lisa and Jamie ran into the bathhouse. Jackson dropped the phone and ran into the bathhouse with him, and all his grandmama could hear was a bunch of screaming on the other end of the phone, like one of them mystery movies. Well, Jenna took off for our camper, which was about 300 yards down through the woods. The bear was going this way. Out of the side of his eye, he caught Jenna going down toward the camper, and he veered off after Jenna. Well, wasn't nothing for me to do but go off after Jenna too, and I ran and I scooped her up, and I was running, and Jenna was screaming, and the bear was right after us. The bear got to within 12 feet of us, and the ranger got in between me and the bear and cut him off in another direction. I guarantee you, on the 4th of July in Yellowstone Park, we saw every bit of a grizzly bear that we ever need to see. Well, let me stoke up the fire over there, and I'll tell you another story. Well, all the kids up and gone now. Of course, anytime I'm ready to go on vacation, they're ready to go with me, as long as I'm paid. But my lovely wife, Lisa, and I spend a lot of time alone together in the house. And that can be dangerous, let me tell you this. I'm going to show you something you ain't never seen before, I guarantee. The whole thing started 2 Februarys ago. It was a cold winter's day on a Sunday. I've been to Sunday school, I've been to church, had Sunday dinner. I was sitting in that easy chair over there watching basketball on television. Having a good time, all by myself. Here comes Lisa in, says, "Get your coat. Why don't you go to Lowe's with me? We need some light bulbs." Now, what I wanted to say was, light bulbs aren't heavy. You go to Lowe's and get the light bulbs. But like I said, Lisa controls 80% of the money, 100% of the sex in my life. So I do what she tells me to do. I got my coat, and we went to Lowe's to look for some light bulbs. They was easy to find on a big old shelf marked Illuminary. We got our light bulbs, and I headed toward the register. Lisa says, as long as we're here, and fellas, if you ever been in Lowe's with your wife looking for light bulbs, and she says, as long as we're here, you're in trouble. She says, as long as we're here, let's look at the ovens. I said, the ovens? So we got an oven. It came with the house 27 years ago. It's fine. You can look at my belly and tell I ain't never missed any meals. But Lisa wanted to look at the ovens, so we went to look at the ovens. Found one too. 28-inch double oven, just like the one we had, except 28 years newer. It was on sale, y'all, for $1,000. And I thought, well, this oven lasts 30 years like the last one did. That's about 30 years. I might get back and see the second half of the game. So I said, we'll take it. She said, no, we won't. I said, what now? She said, we ain't going to buy the first oven we come to. We're going to go over to Sears and see what they got. So we got in the car and drove through the cold rain all the way across town to Sears. Now what they had at Sears was a 28-inch double oven Kenmore, exactly like the one that we had in our house. The same wire and the same everything. And it was on sale for $850. I said, we're going to save $150. I told the man, sign it up, write it up, I'll pay you. Sold. He pretended to write it up. But then just before we got to the part where I handed him the money, he said, oh, but I almost forgot. Before we do this, let me show you what we have over here. If the man at Sears ever tells you, let me show you what we have over here, just give him your wallet, your checkbook, your credit card, your cash. You in trouble. What they had over there was a 30-inch double convection oven. It was $3,600. My car didn't cost $3,600. Oh, but it was on sale for $1,800, half price. Lisa says, we got to buy this. We're going to save $1,800. That's women's logic. A man would say, we're going to spend $950 extra dollars. But Lisa wanted the oven. We got the oven. I took it home. And that's when I learned it don't matter what you do, how much you try, what you cut off. You can't put a 30-inch oven in a 28-inch cabinet. We had to go back and get cabinets, all new cabinets. Had to have granite countertops. I could have bought Stone Mountain for what I paid for those granite countertops. I got the oven in, got the counters, the countertops, and that's when I learned you can't have no stainless steel oven and no avocado green refrigerator and dishwasher. We had to get all new appliances. And then everything looked so good, but the floor was real bad. New tile on the kitchen floor. Then, of course, we had to paint it. And then the curtains. For the first 60 years of my life, I had curtains on my window. I ain't got curtains anymore. I got window treatments. Somebody asked me, what's the difference in a curtain and a window treatment? I said, here's I can tell, about $1,800 a set. Well, the kitchen looked great, but you know, it was right next to the dining room. So we had to redo the dining room. It is right next to the kitchen and the living room, so we had to do the living room. If y'all want to know what a $50,000 light bulb looks like, here one is. 47 more payments, and this bad boy will be all mine. Well, I appreciate you putting up with my foolishness. Thanks for playing along, and I'll see you soon. And if you don't do anything else today, find somebody and be nice to them. I'm Daryl Huckabee. Sometimes you just have to say, what the huck?